Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is the last one. So it's basically putting your fusing on the edge, folding under 1/4, and then folding back your placket. And this is what we did in the blouse. Now, some of you may have done a stitch here, most of you did not, but we're going to do that stitch on top. Just to hold this clean finish. And for some reason my fabric's stretching on me today. And then you're going to do, after you do that stitch, you're going to do 3 horizontal buttonholes. Okay, so this is the same type of placket that we did before for the shawl collar. The second one is on the placket piece. You're going to have the fusing turn under 1/4. This is the right side of the garment. You're going to put the right side of the facing placket piece on the wrong side and stitch 1/4 inch. So this would be the right side of your garment looking at you. And this placket is, if you wanted to use contrast, that's what I did on the other sample in the red. You could make your placket a contrast color. Say you wanted to have your cuffs and collars and plackets contrasting. This is how you would do it. So this is going to fold back and then fold again on top. So it's a separate piece and it has that appearance. And this is all now stitching on the right side. And on these samples, it's a good idea to press all of them as you go. I mean, you can get them prepared so it sews faster for you. Probably shouldn't have used the stretch. Okay. And then so you have the separate placket, and this one is going to have 3 vertical buttonholes. One of the things about this type of a placket too, oftentimes you see the same top stitch on both sides, so it creates a real sporty kind of a look. So I'll do that here. Okay, so it has that kind of a double top stitch look. Okay, so that's the second one. And then now, hopefully my fabric wasn't going to give me problems, but it does have some lycra in it, so that's why we don't use that usually. All right, so now I'm going to do the 1/4 inch stitch. I've slit my placket piece, but I did not slit the underneath piece. I'll do that after I stitch it, so that way it'll be easier to manage. All in advance pressed under these edges. And then go up, oh, I went a little too far up. Go up above the stitch there, the opening. I'll just do this by hand so it doesn't go off on me. One more. And then down. Okay, now after I've stitched that, I gotta get rid of those stitches here. This machine got a little carried away.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
You said you wait to slip the bottom one until you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever wait to slip both of them together?
Do I ever? No.
Or I guess, is that a thing?
You can. You could do that if you wanted to draw the lines like she did.
Yeah, just draw the line.
But I did it so that I could see how I was lining it up on the piece, so I could see it underneath, you know. But yeah, I mean, you could do it. You could slip them together. That's just not what you asked if I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But actually,
I guess my general question would be: is that a thing in general, so that they don't move and the split doesn't move?
In production, they have an automatic machine. It just does it. So I'm pretty sure that it does do it put together.
Okay.
What you're asking. And again, every machine is designed a little different, but once you get to this slit, you don't go all the way to the top with it, you go into the corners.
Would you like some sharper scissors for this?
That's all right. And then this is the inside, so I'm gonna flip to the right side now. Okay. I actually have this backwards. I should have done it on the opposite side, but for now I'll do it her way and it'll be centered. It won't be front and back. Okay, so this is here, and this comes over to this side, and that's how that's gonna line up. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is top stitch this onto the self. You'll notice before I do that, you'll notice here where I've clipped into the corners, you want that to have at least 1/4 of an inch up there to catch it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is clip just a little bit closer because it's not quite as precise as I'd like it to be. Okay. Alright, and then, so this doesn't come back onto the garment. Sometimes students will do that inadvertently. This piece sews right on top of that stitch, okay? So I'm gonna stitch that down. And right on top of that seam. Keep it narrow. And then this is going to get caught up underneath this little house piece. So again, the folded edge goes right over that seam. And put a pin there. Hold it. And this part is really, really precise, so you want to take your time with this. If you need to go with the handle instead of the foot, that's totally fine, because it is very precise sewing here. I gotta find one of those automatic machines that does this one so you guys can see that too, but they have them for all the time-consuming projects. but this one now is, and the first stitch I want to do here is across this, right here where this pin is. So I get that to catch everything that's underneath there. And then you're going to come up and form the roof. Now, her instruction I don't think showed this one, but I kind of like to go across again here rather than try and do that angle. I just find that it's an easier sewing. And then do this. Now there's also squared off ones where they don't do the point at all. So there's another version of this type of a placket where it's squared off completely. And you guys can do either one on your garment. If you find that the precision of this is not as neat as you'd like it to be, you can do the squared off. The other thing I like to do is for reinforcement or design is I like to do these X's through here. This is optional.
You would get extra points.
You do an X. If it looks good, yeah, maybe. You need extra
incentivize us.
Yeah. And then you can fold and get this out of the way, and then you can come down and finish off this edge. And that cleans everything. If you want, it's also a good idea for design purposes, to stitch the other side as well. It doesn't have a function, but it does sort of make it look finished.